Hey y'all, and welcome to Monday night's Treasure Vortex with Gypsy Jules from YouTube's Zero Discrimination, as well as her website gypsydigs.com, and myself, Amanda Digger Degaz. And our website is treasurevortex.com. I have to update it soon. You can reach out to us that way if you have questions or statements or just want to say, hey, what a great job we're doing. I do have to apologize for last week. I know we canceled the show. Gypsy was traveling and filming, which is always exciting. And I went back to work after, I've been recouping. So I was basically crashing out by 7:30. So um, yeah, the show would not have worked. But glad to be getting back on the schedule. Hoping to get some guests. I have talked to some people, so pretty excited to be bringing them in. And I know Gypsy is currently, we'll say on set, but technically in state. Not my state, but another state, and we'll welcome her in because I haven't caught up with her. So it'll be fun to catch back up. So, hey, Gypsy, how are you this evening?
Hey, I'm fantastic. Fantastic. Just got back. I've been out in the mountains all day in Sedona, Arizona, and just got back to where I'm staying outside of Sedona and working on this film project. And we got a lot accomplished, really a lot today. And it's a good thing that I have my four-wheel drive gypsy wagon, so I'll say, because where we went today, of course, if I wouldn't have had four-wheel drive, I would have never been able to get out there.
Oh, geez.
Um, so I'll be able to hopefully share a little bit of that footage, of some of the personal stuff that I filmed while I
Hmm.
was there. And, of course, the stuff because I got to bring the new Vortex. I got to pick up a Vortex. Garrett Vortex on my way out of Texas and been testing it and used it today, in fact, on set, on film out
That,
in the middle of the mountains. And oh my gosh. So, a little bit about what I'm doing. I'll just give you a little snippet. I think I mentioned it before. These are missing person cases. So this is um, basically I'm doing. If some of you have probably heard on some profile cases where they do use metal detection.
hmm
I've actually helped on one in Galveston, Texas, a long time ago, and like what they'll do is like if there's, let's just say they're looking for a weapon, a murder weapon, or they're looking for a body, or they're looking for bullets or bullet casings and looking for evidence. They will use those usually on a fresh case, but sometimes just to pick up new stuff for a case that may be, um, it could even be closed. It could be stuff that people use for, to hire private investigators or something like that. But for this show, it's really something unique that I've never really done on this caliber. So today, the Vortex, of all places being used, I got to go to a Vortex while I was here.
Yeah, that's cool.
It was really cool because the tour I went on for the Vortex tour, she brought a magnet, these two magnets, and showed me some neat things with the magnets when you got to the Vortex. And my friend that I'm filming with was telling me right up by the mountains where she used to live. We drove by there today on our way up to film. And she said at night you could actually hear like the electricity sound coming from the mountains.
Oh,
We
that's
call it
neat.
Thunder Mountain. So you can actually hear this buzz, she said, at night. It was just wild. So a lot of energy with the red rock here in the area and that sort of thing. And if you don't know anything about vortexes, I mean, it's funny how vortexes are really um, come to fruition just lately in my life, because before it was the treasure vortex that you're listening to right now with Amanda and I,
Hmm.
when we came up with our new name for the podcast, the treasure vortex. And then Garrett about to release this new one that I'm testing, the Vortex. I'm testing the VX9 version. And then now getting to come to these vortexes here in Sedona, it's been amazing, just absolutely amazing. And it's just so peaceful out in the desert, and I see why a lot of people come to these energy vortexes um, in the earth. Some people come here for a lot of spiritual stuff, a lot of stuff here where you would love it, Amanda, because of the crystal shops,
Hmm.
and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah. Well, any place I could get my hands on, like doing the fossils or crystal hunting or
Yes,
anything like that is,
crystal rocks.
yep.
You would have loved it out in the desert where we were filming today, and I was metal detecting. Although I was focused on one thing, and but you would just love this area. And I'm sure our audience that have been out to this area, they know exactly what I'm talking about with the energy here. But it really is a beautiful, peaceful place to go. Of course, where we were, well, not only that, you've got the Navajo tribes and different Hopi tribes, different areas around here. I actually ended up picking up myself. I treated myself to a little Navajo um, silver ring
Ooh.
that is my spirit animal. She got me a little pinky ring while I was here.
Oh, nice. That's always fun.
So, yeah, treated myself. And there's something I wanted to bring what you and I were discussing right before we popped on.
Hmm.
But before we get into that, I wanted to say, well, actually, yeah, I'll bring that back up later. But what I was about to say, you would love all the shops here. And I know just past weekend you said you went to
Oh, yeah.
a festival yourself. Tell us about that festival.
So it was interesting. I had seen it on Instagram and someone on TikTok was going, so I was like, you know what, it's not too far. And it was called Odd Fest 5. So I had really no expectations, wasn't really sure what I was getting involved in, knew that there obviously was 4 prior to this 5th one, and usually anything that carries on like that is pretty cool. So, I went with my sister-in-law and John, and we got there, and there was a line going out the front of the building, wrapping around the building, all the way into the parking lot. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Um, it was awesome. It was awesome. Once we got in, I was seriously like, it was right up kind of like our wheelhouse because as detectorists, treasure hunters, a lot of stuff can be considered odd that we find. I know that it was all different vendors, some that did artwork, some that made candles. There was a Rhode Island bottle digging couple that had like the poison bottles and the quack medicines
Whoa.
and the doll heads and the skeleton keys. And then, there was people with they had like find skulls and stuff, but it was like rabbit heads and deer heads and just little mice and just odd. It was on different plaques or in little jars, and kind of good way to kick off the spooky season, quite honestly. But there was also like stained glass makers, and I mean, I find a lot of stained glass in dumps, whether windows broke or and they toss the pieces, but we're always finding stained glass that was part of a stained glass window. Heck, I think it was Shelly, last time or a couple times prior, we all went mudlarking together, and she actually had a piece that had like all the lead around it and everything. So pretty neat though. I think you would have gotten a kick out of it.
Sounds right up my alley too,
Yeah.
because like you said, you and I I know a lot of our listeners, when we're out detecting, we find a lot of odd things sometimes,
Hmm.
like especially with the dump digging and the mudlarking and sometimes the old properties where we're metal detecting are a lot of the surface finds we find, like you were saying, like the headless dolls and the
Yep.
doll arms and the feet and the just all those things, but not to mention like the skulls alone and bones and weird things that we
Hmm.
find. I know me, I'm the one that's going to pick up a skull head and like a cow skull like last year and paint on them,
Oh yeah, yeah.
So,
I forgot you've done
uh,
that. Yeah, and some of these
yeah.
they were beautiful. They did amazing stuff with them. I the one thing I was noticed that wasn't there that I was surprised was I know that some people with those skulls and stuff do those like the borax crystals, and I was like
Yes,
that I didn't see,
I've
and I was like, huh, I'm
seen,
surprised.
I have seen that, and there's some gorgeous, and some of them go for some high prices
Yeah.
too, where they take those big cow skulls and they'll adhere the crystals to them, and they are absolutely gorgeous pieces of artwork. Or, something you and I could do with all the shards of glass we have, we could glue some shards of glass and make it into a beautiful, art piece that way as well.
Yeah,
And of
it
course,
was.
it'd still lean on the odd side, I guess.
Well, we are kind of odd. I
We
think.
are. I was about to say that. You beat me to it.
Uh, I mean,
True, true, true. Oh gosh,
there's nobody
yeah.
that goes by like sees us in a field and doesn't think, oh, that's somebody weird right there.
That's a little weirdo right there. I used to think that when I'd be out, especially like the only person out on the beach when I lived in Galveston, I'd be out there swinging the detector all alone, sitting there. Boy, I'm one odd person. I'm only crazy enough to be out here, and what was always funny is people would go, do you ever find anything with those things? Well, yeah, we do, or we wouldn't be back out here
Yep.
again. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's
But
funny. So
yes,
funny.
so that's about all that I've accomplished. I did charge up my detector, so it is all charged and ready to go. I have not gotten out. I did go mudlarking way too soon, when I should not have, when I was still like recouping, and I didn't tell anybody I
Naughty
was
girl.
going, and
I
it
know.
was
Did
like
you get in trouble?
it was cold, being cold, cold, cold. And I picked a day. I'm like, well, it'd be good just to get out. Well, it was so hot, and every time I bent over, I got dizzy. It was it was bad. It was not good. So I did chastise myself. Was like, yeah, I'm not gonna do that again. So
You didn't listen to that little voice in there saying, Gypsy would be telling